And welcome back to Contraceptives Part 2. During this lesson, you're going to find out about the contraceptives. I labeled them 6 through 10. These are the ones that are good, but they're not great. The next video will be the great one. So these are pretty good, and you will see them right now. Here we go. The sponge. Okay, a sponge is just like it looks like. It's squishy. It's a physical and chemical barrier. You can leave it in 24 hours. If you remember the last video, things had to melt for 20 minutes, or they had to take them out after an hour, or they melted after 2 hours. This one, women loved because it stays in for 24 hours in place. But the bad side is, after you're done having sex, you have to leave it in 6 hours after. So all that stuff's just kind of floating around. Here's how we show it putting in. You have your longest finger supposedly can reach your cervix, and you just push it up to the cervix again. We have to block the cervix if you don't want a pregnancy. This thing though was taken off the market 94 to 2003. For 8 years it was gone because what happened is they said that it actually made women's uterus have a bunch of infections. Let me show you. So this is a sponge here. This is an old one. They're not supposed to be yellow. And what was happening is if women put them in, and maybe put it in before dinner, it was date night, and they put him in, it was there for 24 hours, then they had sex, and then in the morning finally she took it out. What happened is it was so suffocating that the women started to have infections up in here. And so they had to take it off the market and make it more breathable. Now the word breathable really scares me because I don't know how much sperm would get in for something breathable. But they say that it works really good now. So it is back on the market, and here's another picture of it, kind of how it gets in there. Here is removal. You saw the string that I was holding. After 6 hours, the woman removes it out. So here is the old, this one expired in 93. Everything I've been talking about that you buy at a drugstore obviously has expirations. Here are the new today sponges. They're built better, and they look like this. So how the woman uses it is they would put it under warm water, and then you squish it around. And guess what do you think foams out of it? A spermicide. So it's a physical and chemical barrier. Then the woman would fold it in half and then have it up right next to her cervix, and this would be dangling down. Hopefully the man's penis wouldn't get in there and rip it out, because that would be bad. But that could happen possibly. So that is the Today sponge, and they work for 24 hours, but then you have to leave them in 6 hours. This again, it's at the drugstore. This one expired in 2004. So this is probably, gosh, is it? I think this one's probably your best bet at a drugstore. If a woman said, I'm not going to a doctor, then this probably has the highest percent of a woman thing at the drugstore. All right, next up after the sponge, the diaphragm. Okay, this one we have to go for a doctor. You use this one over and over. It's a rubber cup-like thing, and guess where you put it? Next to your cervix. So it's made of rubber, you add a spermicidal gel to it, and again, you have to leave it in for 6 hours after. I always call the diaphragm, it's like the sponge's bigger brother. Okay, it's bigger and better, and it's from a doctor. So what you have to do is you put a spermicidal gel and you fill up the middle of it, and then push it up till it lands in your cervix. There's different sizes. You can see the different sizes I have here, and they fit one for you in the doctor office. Still 80-85% or 80-88. It's pretty good, but there's still much better ones out there. And here is how they show you trying to remove it. You put your longest finger up there, and you have to break the seal with all the suction of the spermicide and rip it out like that. So let's look at the ones that we have here. These are diaphragms they gave me with my contraceptive kit. This one, it says sample, don't use. They thought the health teacher was going to take it home. This is how they look. And then you get some kind of, dog breath. You get some kind of gel like this, and you put it around and you fill it up a little bit, and then fold it in half somehow and get it up there. But it is real bouncy. Here's a bigger one. So you can see the different size. This one is really, really big, and it's not about how fat you are, it's actually about your pelvic structure. So the doctor will make sure that it fits you correctly, and then make sure you'd make a seal with this kind of stuff. Now, some kids have asked in the past, like, how do you get that out? And I'm like, I don't know. So I called a nurse, and guess what I found? The introducer. Are you kidding me? This is how I put a hole in it. Supposedly, you're supposed to put it on here, and then you stretch it over there. Ow! Anyway, and then you're supposed to stretch it, and then when you put it in, it sucks up. And then to get it out, use the other end, and you catch it and pull it out. So this is from a doctor, definitely the worst thing from a doctor. They've been around forever. I doubt a lot of women, it's their go-to, but it could be. If you can't handle hormones, you might have to get a diaphragm. So That is the sponge's big brother. They work the same, they block, they're physical, they're chemical, you gotta leave them in 6 hours after. But this one is sized just for you and use it over a year. Not sure if they're dishwasher safe. Let's not put them in there. All right, next. The condom. Okay, this is probably the most popular contraceptive. It's the only thing out there for men, and they are super effective if used correctly. There are ways, a lot of men unroll them wrong, so you have to be sure that it looks like this and you can roll it all the way down. And that's what they look like. They're made of latex. That is the best material to prevent against STDs, and you get them at a drugstore. Here are all the different varieties of condoms that there are. Make sure they only use them once, okay, then they throw away. 80% effective, physical chemical barrier and use start to finish. So you don't just have sex for a while and say, oh, I better put the condom on now, because the Cowper's gland could have already released some pre-ejaculatory fluid. Use from start to finish. And after, people don't tell you this, but after sex is over, remember the erect penis is gonna go back down to its little self. So afterwards, the man has to hold on to it and make sure he brings everything out that went in. Otherwise, it'll get trapped in there and it's gonna be lost. So grab it and pull the whole thing out. This is, a lot of kids don't know about this, but this is lambskin condoms. Lots of people have latex allergies now. I'm not sure if you understand that. Latex is the best material for condoms, but if you can't do that, you're gonna go to lambskin. They are like 3 times more expensive, but they are still pretty good, especially if the girl uses foam or gel or vaginal contraceptive, something like that. This would be good. So let's see, we got variety on the table. The Trojans, of course, this is a good brand. I would encourage you to buy the good brand. And I have one out of the box. Now it's been stretched out. They're not usually that giant. But see how it says ENZ? It's because it actually has an end to it to catch the semen. Remember, it's only half a teaspoon, 350 million sperm. So the man would put it on and you leave this on the end and the rest of it goes on the penis. So that it actually gets caught in there. Because if the man puts it on too tight or doesn't have a full erection, it could burst. So always get the ones that say ends on them. Those are the best ones. All right, here are some other varieties of condoms. They all have expirations. Make sure you get it from a drugstore, not a gas station, out of a machine or something. These are good to use at 4th of July parties. We got red and blue. These might have come from the Comet Stop. They're gold and black. And these I stole from Coal City, green and gold collars, okay? But I also wanted to show you need to know there are flavors. There's grape, there's mint, and you think, what in the world are people using flavors for? Well, you know that STDs are crazy. I've told you how many STDs are around. 1 out of every 4 kids has one, don't know it. And somehow there's a lot of kids tripping and falling and putting their mouth on other people's genitals. So they do have these because if your mouth's gonna touch someone, you really need to have protection between your mouth and their area. There is also, a lot of kids don't know this, there's something called Dental Dam. And this is something, this is mint flavored. And you could lay this over the area that you might trip upon, and then your mouth would be here and you wouldn't actually have to touch the person's area. So these are actually available, and I'm telling you, you saw the STD video, all those people that have STDs in their mouth. So these are things that you would consider if you plan on going that route. All right, those are condoms. Next, the birth control pill. We all know about this. Now there's 28 in a pack. There's 21 active pills. Active pills are the ones with the hormone. What's the hormone? It makes you think you're already pregnant. If you think you're pregnant, do you think an egg pops out? No, you stop ovulating. If there's no egg, you can have 350 million sperm in there 3 times a day. You're not gonna get pregnant because there's no egg. So in this kind of pack, they have 21 active pills that say, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant. Then the last 7 are just sugar or placebo pills. And the only reason women take them is just so they take it the same time every day and they get used to just taking a pill every day. You don't have to take those if you don't want to. So you swallow it each day. They're hormones that make you think you're pregnant, and they have little days of the week on them so you can see them. There's tons of bad side effects. This is our first hormonal one. There's bad side effects. You can have blood clots, weight gain, headaches, mood swings, tons more bad things. Good things though, why girls like the pill, your period is much lighter, which means you have less cramps, and you know on time. Your period's gonna come Tuesday at 10 o'clock. There's no surprises, so this regulates things. Also, there are some brands of pill that are good for acne. 91%, it is easy to forget. You'd have to set an alarm on your phone, take it the exact same time every day, because it only has enough hormone to make you think you're pregnant for about 24 hours. So take it the exact same time. You get it from the doctor. And now they're giving you 3 months of active pills. I know you've heard this before. You just keep taking, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, for 3 whole months, then you have your period. So it's like only having 4 periods a year. So this is a good choice of contraception. And here they are. This is what pills look like, or the sample I got. And you just click it around to whatever day of the week it is. And notice that they're different colors. The active ones are orange and the inactive are green. And then it pops out the back. Then you push it and it comes out the back. So there's all sorts of styles of pills, and I know you'll end up talking to your doctor more if this is a choice that you choose in the future. All right, number 10, the last one here. It's a patch. How does putting a patch on your skin like a Band-Aid, how in the world does that prevent a pregnancy? Well, it's the same way as a pill. It makes you think you're pregnant, and the hormone actually dissolves, a slow dissolving hormone, into your skin. Each one lasts for 1 week, so then you use them for 3 weeks, and then nothing, and you have your period. So what it means, you put the first patch on, usually somewhere in your area here, first patch, you take it off. Next week, you put a second patch on, take it off. Next one is a third, and then the last week you don't have a patch, so you can bleed and go on the 28-day cycle and have your period. But you can still use 12 straight patches, just keep putting them on, and then you only have the 4 periods a year. So you can do that as well with the patch. Here's some things you need to know. You have to be under 200 pounds or there's not enough hormone. If in any of these hormonal ones I'm going to talk about, if you're 35 years or older and smoke cigarettes, they will not give you something hormonal. You will have a heart attack and die. I know it sounds crazy. Heart attack, stroke, blood clots are huge. They will ask you at the doctor, do you smoke? If you do, they will not give you hormonal. That might be the people that have to go with the diaphragm. So here's the different places that they show the patch where you can move it. All right, and that's our number 10.